Rare Books USA, eBay store monthly reports. Obviously, things are going to be changing here. It's not just going to be eBay moving forward, but this is still our primary driver of revenue for our business. And the Kristen off, as always, art sells antique vintage books, 333 English ordinal, very powerful. Rare Books USA's, eBay, Etsy, and whatnot stores are subsidiaries of Data Productions Media. So that's 3 platforms I'll be selling books on now. Not just eBay, but Etsy and whatnot. Whatnot is a live streaming platform. It's an app. Still earnings reports, monthly style, monthly updates. We'll be tracking sales, expenses, and future business advancements. The 2025 forward guidance still hasn't changed. We still think we'll do $25,000 in revenue. And, potentially it could go higher, but we'll stay firm on that forward guidance. And so now let's look at some of the eBay numbers, because obviously eBay is my primary force, and I have not sold anything on Etsy or whatnot yet. But it's some very promising things that we've have seen thus far. All right. So for April, the month of April, which is not done yet, we still have 3 days. I'm at $1,950 in total sales. And why is that important? Because my best month in the history of my 9-month-old business thus far was obviously December, Christmas, Q4. I made $2,064. Took 31 days. I am almost there in 27 days. It's one of the slowest times of the year for online retail. With the last 3 days and how things are going, I should surpass my total sales of what I did my best month in 2024. And, April is not a really good month for sales. And so that is a testament to my growth. That is a testament to persistence. And that's a testament to compounding effect. And think about it. I'm so close to reaching that goal. I'll be surpassing that with most likely under 78 item quantity sold, right? So less sales to get better results. That's what you're trying to see in the business world, right? That type of growth. And so next, so we have that, right? So now let's look at what we've been doing for the year thus far. And we've only had 4 full months, right? From January to April, 4 full months, January, February, March, April, 4 full months. So my total sales on eBay for the first 2 months was $7,412. All right. 244 items sold. Now, what did I do for my whole existence last year when I started my business? I started my business essentially July 1st, and we'll take it to December 31st. So in the 6 months, July, August, September, October, November, December, in the 6 months, in the first 6 months of my business, I did $6,931, so almost $7,000 in sales in my first 6 months. And it took me 255 items sold in 6 months, right? That's the difference. So in 118 days, which as is less, so it's less, let's say like whatever, like 115, 110 days, whatever. But right now, 118 days, it took me 118 days to get the same results that it took me 184 days to last year. That's 66 less days to get the same results. That's compounding effect. That's compounding effect. And that's what businesses should be doing if they're operating correctly. All right. My revenue has increased and it has taken less time. That's how you start going up. Now, positive news. I did reach 500 items sold recently, a couple days ago. So, which is really cool. That's a cool milestone. I'm trying to get to 1,000. I think I'd get 1,000 this year in 2025. I think I definitely get to 1,000 items sold in 2025. Um, I don't think I'll get to 1,000 before July though, which would be crazy. 1,000 items sold in 1 year on my first year, that'd be crazy. But I don't see it. But I do think we get to 1,000 by year's end. And so when you divide what I've been able to do thus far, I just took a round number of 7,500 divided by 4. That's $1,875 per month thus far. So if you take that linear guidance, that has me about at 22.5 thousand, right? 22,500. So we're still, in regards to linear guidance growth, we're still under that 25,000. But I have to add that my 25,000 forward guidance really wasn't it was accounting for what was possible and the unknown with the compounding effect, but that was strictly based off eBay and what I thought I could do off eBay sales, which still this linear guidance is based off purely eBay sales. But now I have Etsy and whatnot. That's 2 other streams I plan on that I'll be making sales off of, right? And so now the revenue potential has shifted, has grown. I don't know what I don't know what the sales will be. I don't know what the revenue is going to be moving forward. It's going to be over 25,000, I believe, if I start selling well on those platforms. It's going to take a while, and so now let's look at the income statement and the balance sheet. So let's actually just look at the balance sheet real quick. I mean, there's really no change here. Assets have stayed the same. Fixed asset has stayed the same. Obviously, my computer equipment, office equipment. I got a new photo scanner. So the equipment is just rising. And that's part of growth, you know. That's just part of the growth process. It costs money to grow. Amazon, you know, really has never made profits because it's always growing, spending money on research and development and growth, and taking all the profits from different sectors and putting it back in to the growth driver. And that's, so I'm taking some points out of Jeff Bezos' book. And we'll talk about that in the next slide a little bit. Now looking at the income statement, profits and loss, and this is just operationally. This is not taking assets and liabilities in the equation. And so when we're looking at our net income up until this point in April, we have a negative net income of $1,284.55. Our biggest expense has been books, and that's just under general expenses, almost $5,000 for the year. And one of my objectives this year has been to pay less in books. And I think overall, I've actually done a better job of not paying as much for books. And the positive aspect with this, currently, I have a lot of unlisted inventory I just have not gotten to yet. And it's definitely over, you know, multiple $1,000s worth of unlisted inventory I just have not got listed yet for eBay, Etsy, and whatnot. So I'm actually pretty comfortable with where my net income is, because the operating profit, the operating income and expenses will even out as the year goes along. Again, the expenses come with like off expenses too. I just bought a new photo scanner for postcards. I just loaded up on shipping and packing supplies, because a lot of that stuff comes from China, and the tariffs might affect that moving forward to higher prices. So I really just kind of front loaded a lot of things so I don't have to worry about it on the back end. So I think it's really going to even out. I also, since I'm going full time, auto expenses, gas, insurance, phone bill, since obviously almost 100% of my life is this business. So a lot more expenses have been added on to the books because of the growth I've seen. And so me seeing a negative $1.2 thousand in my net income, that doesn't faze me. because a lot of that, all those expenses was to fuel growth and to expand myself, which I'm really excited. And I think I do believe that we're doing at Rare Books USA. And so that net income definitely going to get positive, hopefully by the end of the year. I am not too worried about that. That's for sure. And so let's talk about our business objectives a little bit. Rare Books USA business objectives. Um, like I said in the last slide, expanding selling capabilities into Etsy and whatnot. Those are the big objectives. I started this month. Etsy, art book, catalog focus. I'm niching down in that I have a bunch of art catalogs and art books. When you understand what the platform is of Etsy, that's where it is. I don't want to do just general vintage books, antique books. There's already a lot of sellers on there that do that. But if I can niche down into rare, vintage, antique art books and art catalog book focus, I think I have an edge there. And then I'll get a certain type of customer. And usually that certain type of customer doesn't mind paying up a higher price and not sending offers like they do on eBay. And whatnot. I'm gonna be selling a lot of restricted banned books and postcard auctions. So again, I do sell postcards on my eBay store, but I'm gonna be selling like postcard lots on auction and specific cards as well. And so that's gonna be definitely a place. Hopefully, I can get some more quicker cash generation revenue flow from when I do a show. I'll be shipping out whatever I sell that day. So just a little bit more leeway, some flexibility, and being a little bit quicker. And so I'm really excited on what these two can add to the mix along with eBay. And you know, the I think it's a pot. I think it's better to start the process now. I could say, oh, just focus on eBay, focus on eBay. No, you have to have multiple different revenue streams, right? And this is not even counting for what I'm doing on YouTube as well. And so definitely expanding, investing more capital and focusing on vintage postcards. Like I said, the last conference call, postcards are the new paperbacks. I just sold a Planet of the Apes paperback today, so I still have paperbacks that sell, but I just don't believe I'm getting the value out of paperbacks, especially with the space it takes up in storage. And so I'm moving more into postcards and lighter weight options instead of paperbacks. Still doing the vintage antique hardcovers and such like that. That's not changing for Rare Books USA, but with my constrained space, it doesn't make sense for me to do paperbacks, not in what I'm trying to do. And so I got an Epson Workforce ES 580W wireless document scanner. It's been doing pretty well for me thus far. It has sped up the postcard process. I've been able to get up postcards easy because I don't have to use my phone to take photos now, at least for most of them. So productivity. If you're going to invest in something, at least get something back, like invest in efficiency and productivity. And ramping up more scheduled listings. I have over 1.6 thousand. I have over 1,600 listings right now. My goal is 5,000 listings by the end of 2025 on eBay. That's not including Etsy. So we'll see where we're at on Etsy for listings, but for eBay, at least 5,000. And, we might be halfway there by the end of May, which how I'm going. I have over 100 scheduled listings already. And plus, it's a lot easier and quicker to get postcards up. And, you could talk schematics in the science of online selling, right? It's different than a physical store, especially think about it. For books, you're an online bookstore on eBay. I'm an online bookstore, right? And so think about it as each listing is real estate online on the specific platform. And you have to relate it to a bookstore, right? So a book taking up real estate on a shelf is pretty known, right? You can see it. You go over to a shelf, you can see, all right, that's real estate. You have 1,000 books listed, and think of that 1,000 books on your shelf, right? That takes up a lot of space. Takes up a lot of space online. It takes a lot of space physically. 1,000 books, right? But think 1,000 postcards. How much space does 1,000 postcards take on a shelf? It doesn't even take up a quarter shelf. It probably takes up 5% of a full shelf for 1,000 postcards in the physical form. Now think, online real estate is different because online physical attributes for a listing don't matter in regards to real estate. All right. And so obviously the more listings you have on your eBay store, the more likely you'll get more people to view your store, right? Because the more listings you have, that means the more opportunity people can see your store. And so the real estate postcards take up is magnificent, actually. Magnificent, right? Now you don't want to list a book for $5 on eBay because it takes up a lot of space on your shelf and you're not making a whole lot of money, right? And you have to pack it up. There's a lot of labor expenses, capital costs that go into selling a $5 book. It's not worth your time. Hardback, paperback, it don't matter. A $5 postcard, now that's a different story. One, a $5 postcard, right? That's in a line of, say, a bunch of postcards you listed in, within 30 minutes. So one $5 postcard doesn't take a whole lot of expenditure of energy and capital. But the amount of space it actually takes up online is magnificent. It's a pure listing, right? If it's a good postcard, you can get multiple views, right? Even if it's a $5 postcard, it can get multiple views. Now that goes straight to your views for your whole store. Now, postcard collectors, they might like books too. So they see that. What else do you have? My name's Rare Books USA. What else? So the value in a postcard taking up real estate, and essentially, I mean, eBay is not unlimited listings, but the power, the punch a postcard listing has is significant than a book. The book might be able to pay bills and higher overall, sale value and stuff, but postcards, it almost drops to your bottom line. Doesn't take a whole lot of capital to acquire. Doesn't take a whole lot of effort to ship and pack, and it doesn't take up any storage space. But it still takes up a whole listing of real estate on eBay. So that's what I'm trying to get across to other resellers I talk to in my communities and such, that postcards should definitely be a part of your growth strategy if you're trying to make a big store in the vintage antique space, even with books. I'm Rare Books USA. I'm keeping the main thing, but I understand the power of postcards. The margins are amazing. The profits dropping straight to the bottom line. It's helping growth, and it's marketing is getting me out there. And so I'm really excited for all the things that we're doing thus far.